Hello everyone, this is Andy from the Pixel Puff. I'm here to talk about my favorite limited run games. Okay, so I know it's been a hot minute since I've done a video. I talked about my PC issues. Last time I did a video, it was worse than we originally suspected. I had to get a new motherboard, had to wait for that to come in. My buddy Jason, who I love to death, I've known him since 9th grade, he came over here and spent a good chunk of time last night basically putting the PC back together for me, because Lord knows I'm useless when it comes to that type of stuff. So I want to give a big shout out to him for helping me out originally building the PC to begin with last year, and just completely going ground up again, because like I said, we had to get a new motherboard and everything had to be put back together, and you know, that's a long ordeal. Right now it is sitting in my dining room on the dining room table. I'm going to keep it there for about a week just in case. I'll put it through its paces because he's still not sure. There might be some issues with the main SSD that I have Windows on, and I do all my editing on that main SSD, or it might be the cables that run the SSD. He said it seemed like it was having issues last night when he got everything up and running. I've been messing around with it for about an hour or so today, and it seems fine. I'm going to let it sit there for a week. I'm going to edit this video on it, and I'm going to play some games. I'm going to see what happens, and then hopefully we can just get back in the swing of things. I like to try to put out a video every week, even more if I can find the time. But this PC stuff, I just want to get it behind me. It's been crazy. Anyway, let's get down to the games. Okay, for people out there who don't know what Limited Run is, it is a website, and there's a physical store in Cary, North Carolina. I believe it's in Cary. Anyway, they put out, limited run physical games, usually digital only games that don't have a publisher or ports of older games. They've been doing this for a while. There's several companies that do just about the exact same thing, like Super Rare and Special Reserve and stuff like that. I've mostly dealt with limited run. This list is entirely limited run games except for one game, and I'm gonna talk about it first. Yeah, I just like the idea of getting physical versions of games that are awesome. If I play them digitally and I'm like, man, I really want that, just like put it on the shelf and have it forever. I like having stuff like this around, so this is gonna be fun. Also, this list is in no particular order, so let's start out with the lone game that is not limited run, but it is one of my favorite games in a long time. That is Inscription. I got it on the PS5 here. It was put out by Special Reserve Games, I believe. Yes, that's what it says on the back. They did put it out on the Switch and the PS4, I believe, but I missed out while I was at work. I came home and those were gone, so I had to get the PS5 version, which is not what I would have picked. I would have picked the Switch definitely first off. I love this game. If you haven't played Inscription, play Inscription. I believe there's still a demo on Steam. There was at the time when I played it. The year it came out, I can't remember exactly when it came out. It was 2021, 2022, one of those years. It was my game of the year. I freaking loved it. It was wild, fun ride, and this is a weird recommendation to make because I really wanted it physically because I originally played it on the PC, and like I said, I loved it. I would still recommend playing it on the PC because there's just certain things about it that I think are more lent to a PC experience. So keep that in mind if you want to try out Inscription. I think it's really, really good. It's on sale constantly. As I'm sitting here right now, I think it's $8 on Steam. It's amazing. Just give it a try. You won't be disappointed. Okay, next up is a PS4 game here. It was a game that originally came out on the Xbox 360. That's where I played it way back in the day, way back in the 2010, I think, or 2011. 2010, 2011, one of those. It's Bastion. When it originally came out for limited run, I don't think I really knew what limited run was, or I maybe had seen the name and whatever, and I just wasn't in the headspace to get into stuff like that. I think I saw this on like Amazon or eBay, and the price was pretty good, so I was like, man, I fucking love Bastion. Bastion is one of those games, one of the few games I ever stopped playing, beat it, and immediately started again. Like, there was a decision at the end that you make that kind of alters the ending, and I was like, well, I have to see those out. I have to play it. I have to do it right now. It's just a ton of fun combat, great art, great music. We had the soundtrack on vinyl. It's amazing. It was Supergiant's first game, and it just made me a lifelong fan of their stuff because it's just, they know how to work that art. They know how to work that style. It's just really, really good. The narrator is a whole lot of fun. The different characters that sing throughout the story are really good. The different weapons and stuff like that. It is just a great, great time. Just like Inscription is one of my favorite games ever. I just love that limited run could put out a physical version that I could have on the shelf, look at it forever. Okay, we got the PlayStation stuff out the way. The rest of this video, all Switch games. So let's go. Because this first one came out this year, and I played through it this year, and it's Arzette Jewel of Faramore. I believe this game was actually published digitally by Limited Run as well. Like if you, whatever platform you buy it on, digitally or physically, you're probably going to see the Limited Run logo at the beginning of the game. This game is a very fun callback to those nasty Zelda games that were on the Philips CDI. Matter of fact, the developer of this game is CDI software, like CD, like a SEEDY software, and the opening logo is a disc going into a like an acorn or something. I don't know, but it's got fun visuals with the cutscenes and stuff. They look just like those Zelda games. The Wand of Gamelon, the Mask of something. I can't remember what they were called. Just that same animation style, that same art style. The voice acting's wild and crazy, like it would be in like 1993 on a freaking multimedia game system. And they took all that and actually made a fun game around it, like a fun little kind of Metroidvania, kind of more akin to, you know, maybe a Faxanadu or a Zelda 2 or Castlevania 2. It's just you build up, you get your weapons, you get your items, you can unlock other stuff in other areas, you keep going back and forth. It's got great music. Actually, as I'm recording this, Limited Run did a clearance thing of vinyl pressings, and Arzette was up there. I did not get Arzette, the vinyl, when it first came out. I just got the game because I didn't know what the soundtrack sounded like. I was like, well, I want to play the game. I'll worry about the soundtrack later. I really like the soundtrack because it's got a goofy style to it as well. Same with art and the animation and everything. And I was able to pick up the vinyl. Hopefully it'll be here sometime this week, because it's not something you have to wait for. They already have it pressed and everything. So let's go. I'm ready. Yeah, Arzette. Okay, next is a collection of games that I think I ordered last year, but I just got this year, or just got around to playing this year. And that's Castlevania, the Advanced Collection. The Castlevania games I love, especially the Symphony of the Night inspired games, the Metroidvanias, stuff like that, and the ones on the Game Boy Advance I missed out on pretty hard. I don't know if anyone remembers emulation back in that day around when the GBA came out. There was a GBA emulator out very fast, and I remember playing these games with like a keyboard, and I was like, man, I don't know. Especially like playing Circle of the Moon, it was like, this feels kind of weird. I don't know. I just never really gave them a shot, and I always heard that they were good. So when this was announced, I was like, okay, this is my chance. It's my chance to get into it. And I have played through Harmony of Dissonance. No, I haven't. I played through Aria of Sorrow so far, and dipped my toe into Harmony of Dissonance. I really like Aria of Sorrow. It was everything that people would hype it up to be. I had a great time with it. I worked my way back to Harmony of Dissonance and Circle of the Moon, and for whatever reason, Dracula X for the Super Nintendo is up here too. So, you know, it's just there. Not my favorite, but hey, just throw it in there, I guess. Okay, next up is a game I've talked about a lot on this channel, I think here recently, and that's Time Spinner. Time Spinner, I won't spend too much time on it. Hey, it is a Metroidvania, similar to Symphony of the Night. It kind of takes a lot of the graphical cues from Symphony of the Night and stuff like that. Fun little magic system where you got your little different orbs that you can fire, and they change into different things, like a big sword or a big flame or whatever. A fun kind of a time traveling aspect to it as well. I don't know, I just had a great time with this. I actually picked this up at Best Buy, but it's got the Limited Run logo on it, and it has a different cover art than you would get from Limited Run. The Best Buy one had a specific one, and it's this one. And man, it was a great time. If you like Metroidvanias, check out Time Spinner, because it was a fun time. Okay, next up is a collection of games. It was one of the first things I picked up from Limited Run, because I loved the first game in this series, and that is the Grandia HD collection. I have Grandia. I still have my copy of Grandia on PlayStation. I picked up Grandia 2 on the Dreamcast not that long ago. I've only played a little bit of it, and I've played a ton of Grandia 3 on the PlayStation 2 and didn't beat it. I'm kind of disappointed they didn't fit Grandia 3 up here. I mean, I guess I understand it's a PS2 game. Maybe it's, I don't know. I don't think they're just that big of a space issue. I don't know. But it's only got Grandia 1 and Grandia 2 up here. And I really enjoyed Grandia 1. It had a fun battle system for the time. I really liked the little ring thing where you have, like, you could see each enemy and your characters where they're on the ring. And once you get to the phase where you can put in your actions, you got that little bit of time that you go in the ring. It's hard to describe without a visual cue or whatever, but there's different ways to, like, delay enemies' attacks, or your attacks can get delayed and stuff like that by doing critical damage to enemies while they're in a certain spot on the ring. It's like, oh, you got knocked back to the beginning, and now you have to go around the whole ring again. or, you know, get your turn back. It's I'm making it sound dumb, but it's a lot of fun. It has great music, has a fun graphical style for the PlayStation. I think it's one of those games that has the sprites for characters and 3D environments that you run around in, and you can do the whole camera spin with the L and R buttons, and I don't know, it's just bright, colorful graphics. I just remember deep into the game, I was still, you know, you're still going to brand new towns and stuff like that, exploring new environments. I remember just like this like alpine village of like, you know, big pine trees and snow on the ground, and this a village of talking cows, and it's like, this is great. This is awesome. But yeah, the Granny HD collection, what a good time. Okay, this is a game that Kathy has a lot of fun with, so I figured I'd put it on the list, and I had fun with it too with the multiplayer we played. That is River City Girls. So here we got the PAX variant. We actually picked this up from the limited run store before they opened, or it was opening day. It was supposed to be sold at PAX 2020, but with COVID and everything, that didn't happen. So they just had a bunch of these that they were selling outside in a big tent in the parking lot of the area that they're in, and I was able to pick it up, and like, I was like, I heard about it, but you know, I'm probably never going to be able to get a PAX variant of anything unless I can, you know, get my ass to Seattle or Boston. So I was like, okay, let's give it a shot, and it's very cool. It's got fun graphics with the animation style. It's like, it's way forward, so it's very detailed. It's got great music, a lot of you know, kind of girl punk, girl power type of stuff, and it's great. You play these two girls that are going to rescue their boyfriends from being kidnapped, and you're in the River City area. I don't know if they actually call it River City, but it's like semi-sequel to River City Ransom on the NES. The Kunio-kun games. Yeah, it's a good time. It's a beat 'em up where you can, you know, go to the shops and spend your money and buy new moves and level up and all that stuff. We have River City Girls 2 and River City Girls 0 as well. But I think this is the one that captured the hearts in this household, first off. Okay, next is a fun game that I actually picked up. The next two games, actually, back to back, I picked up at the limited run store. I went there by myself one day. I was like on vacation. I was like, I want to go out there and check things out. And I wanted to walk out of the store with something I'd never played before. And I think that was my only criteria that I put on myself. I actually ended up walking out with two Metroidvanias that I never played before. The first one is the Mummy Demastered, another way forward joint. This game is based on that failed Mummy movie that I'm not even sure came out. It's supposed to be this big MCU thing, but Universal monsters. I don't know. All I know is that this game's awesome, and WayForward made it, and it's a Metroidvania, more skewing to the Metroid side. So you're collecting a lot of weapons, a lot of weapons, a lot of upgrades that center around, you know, shooting stuff, shooting not aliens, but shooting like spirits and mummies and stuff like that. And it's got a fun, I can't remember the exact concept of like death in this game, but I think you're basically basically clones of yourself, and you keep going down, and when you die, you have this like Dark Souls, you have to go back and pick up your stuff, sort of. But it was a wild ride. I had a great time with it. I just remember I had heard really good things about it, and I'd never played it. I never sat down to play it digitally, and I was like, okay, this is my chance to see what it's about, and I had a great time with it. The Mummy Demasters. Okay, the other game I picked up was Chasm. Chasm is more on the Castlevania side of the Metroidvanias. It is more melee focused. You're getting weapons like whips and swords and stuff like that. The key to this game, though, that it is randomly generated. So when you start the game, I believe it spits out that seed, and the game's going to be, you know, what it is from that seed. And I'm not really the biggest fan of that type of stuff. I like it when it's like, you know, roguelikes, where it's like it's about runs, and you start, and okay, you're going to get a different thing every time you start. But with a game like this, where it's like, you know, you save and you make progress, and you're exploring the map, and it's not run based. I'm like, okay, it's not handcrafted. You're not getting that handcrafted experience that it's basically just blocks being put together by AI. But I will say about this game, I think they did a really good job. I had a ton of fun with Chasm, but it's one of those things that, you know, I beat it a while ago. Maybe I will go back and play it, because it will be a totally different map, totally different, you know, not totally different, but a different experience. And it's not like I remember the map, you know, like the back of my hand to begin with. But I don't know, it was fun. I was kind of hesitant to buy it because I remember when it came out, I thought it looked really cool. I like the animation style and everything. But I just think it just got a tepid response from the people that I follow on the internet. And I was like, okay, well, you know, another Metroidvania game that's not great. There's a dime a dozen, I think, these days. And I was pleasantly surprised by playing it. It was a good old time. Okay, we only got 2 left. This one is from one of my favorite current series that I'm playing through the past couple years, and that's Ys Origins. This is one of the ones I ordered. I pre-ordered off the website. I was like, well, I want to play some Ys games. I wasn't super sold on it to begin with because it does not start at all. It takes place before the first Ys game. You play as either Unica, or Hugo, and then there's a third character you unlock after you beat the game with both of those characters. And it also takes place in a tower, so everything's, you know, brown and gray, and, you know, very muted colors that you're running around in. And it also has that, you know, trails in the sky, Ys Othenfogana art style where the characters kind of look like little Precious Moments characters. They just look like they're made of clay, and they got these big ass eyes, and they're like little sprites running around in a 3D environment. And like, that's not the most appealing thing in the world with that type of art style. I really like it in Grandia, but with this, I was like, I don't know. But I picked it up, got it, played through it. It was awesome. I had a great time with it. I kept telling myself and telling people that would listen, I was like, hey, if you want to play Ys Origins, this is what I think of it. It reminds me of like a PlayStation game that would have came out over here in like 1999, but it would have came out in Japan in like 95. So it looked like a slightly old PlayStation game for the time, but it would have been like my favorite game that I played. Like I would still be talking about it to this day. It's like, hey man, you played Ys Origins on the PlayStation? It's awesome. Like, it was a hidden gem. Check it out. It gives those vibes to me like a lot. Like, it's kind of simplistic, you know, upgrades for your weapon and magic. Is there magic in this game? I can't remember. It's been a couple years since I played it. Like I said, fun little time. I love the Ys games. I'm eagerly awaiting Ys 10. I've got it. I had it pre-ordered off Amazon, and it had been a week and some change, and they still ain't shipped it. So I canceled it, and I ordered one off eBay. So hopefully I get it then at some point so I can play through it, because I am jonesing for some more Ys. Last game here, and it probably is my favorite limited run game I picked up, is one that is still sealed. It's one I've talked to death about on this channel because I love it to death, and that's Infernox. Infernox is kind of a throwback to Faxanadu and Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest and stuff like that, but in that case, it's a good game versus Castlevania 2. It's just a fun action adventure game, Metroidvania elements, stuff like that, you know, my bread and butter, all that stuff all day long. Fun 8-bit graphics, but not 8-bit when they don't want to be. Like, there's some scenes where it's like, whoa, that's pretty grotesque. That's pretty crazy. Didn't want to get too deep into it because I've talked about it a lot, but please play Infernox. It's fucking amazing. During the whole PC woes I've been going through here for the past couple weeks, I fired up my Xbox for the first time in a very long time. And that's where I originally played through Infernox. It was on Game Pass. And I was looking at my games. I was like, man, I ain't played Infernox in a while. Let me try that out. And they took it off Game Pass, so I couldn't play it. So this sealed copy probably going to be open soon, because I was bummed that I couldn't play it right then. I was like, well, I want to check. I think they put out new stuff since then, since the last time I played it. So I wanted to check it out. So yeah, you might have to be open, buddy. Might not be sealed for too much longer. So Infernox is great. Infernox is amazing. Check it out. Okay, that's been my favorite limited run games that I have messed around with. I think that's like 11 games. 11 limited run games that are some of my favorites that I think are a good time. If you have any suggestions of games that I missed, any games that you think are super cool that are coming from limited run or special reserve or super rare, let me know. I'm always up for some game suggestions. I've been Andy from the Pixel Pub. Please like and subscribe and all that stuff. Peace out.